I saved 6 figures before graduating from college. Today I'll review 10 practical strategies that I personally used to save over 100,000 while I was a full-time student earning 18,000 as my scholarship stipend. Whether you're a student, professional, or entrepreneur, you can apply these strategies right now to start saving more money and create the financial freedom you deserve. Saving 6 figures allowed me to create a life of freedom, to travel the world, to work for myself, and to spend my time doing the things I love with the people that I love. If you're ready to create financial freedom, keep watching because the sole purpose of this video is to help you on your journey. If you're new here, my name is Mari. I'm a doctor turned entrepreneur. In this channel, I talk about tools and strategies to help you live a healthier, happier, and more fulfilling life by spending your time and energy more intentionally. Today, I'll distill everything that I did to save 6 figures in under 6 years while studying full-time for my PhD. This video is going to be super practical to really help you achieve the same results as I did. I'm working on another video where I'll share the mindset principles that allowed me to create financial security. My sole purpose in creating this video is to share my perspective, hoping that this will help someone create more financial freedom in their life. I know some things I'll say in this video are not for everyone, but I'm sure everyone can take at least one thing from this video to help them create financial freedom. The purpose of this video is to share the strategies that I use to maximize my income and minimize my expenses so I could save more. Without further ado, let's dive in and explore these 10 strategies to maximize your savings. Starting with the basics, you really need to know your numbers. And there are 3 main numbers you need to know: how much money you make, how much money you spend, so you can determine how much money you're currently saving. For most jobs in the modern society, you can calculate how much money you make per hour of your work. When I was a PhD student, I was making 10 euros per hour. 1 hour of my time was equivalent to 10 euros. So if something costed me 10 euros, if you simplify the math, it basically costs 1 hour of my time, because that was the life energy that I exchanged to get the money, which was what I exchanged for the thing that I bought. So money is the result of the service that we provided by dedicating our most precious resources, our time and energy. Let's talk about 5 strategies you can use to maximize your income. When I was doing my PhD, I had a scholarship stipend, but I wanted to find more ways to make more money. So I started to actively look for opportunities around me. I saw that some other people were doing some part-time jobs, and I asked them about the part-time jobs that they were doing, how did they get them, and so on. And in that way, I could find many opportunities around me, but those opportunities were not so clear when I started. The key here was to be very curious and attentive to what was going on around me. So I encourage you to do the same, to look at the people around you and see how they are making extra money. And you can ask them questions, and in general, people are super happy to talk about it, to share more details, and even to help you get started. That was what I found from my experience in asking people. Don't be shy, be curious and interested. And that was the key for me to find out about these 5 strategies that I'll share with you. Strategy number 1 to maximize your income is to find a part-time job. I personally did internships, teaching, and tutoring as well while I was in college. And those were really great experiences. I got a lot from those jobs as well. Strategy number 2 is to freelance. I did something called grinds in Ireland, but I think there are other terms for this same thing in other countries. I was basically help students prepare for their leaving cert, which is an exam that they take before going to college. And coming from Brazil, I didn't know that the leaving cert was a thing. And obviously, I didn't know that helping students prepare for their leaving certs was a thing either. But by talking to people around me and learning about this as an opportunity, I said that I would give it a try. And that was great because I was charging between 30 and 50 euros for 1 hour of work. Obviously, I had to do some preparation for this because I had never taken the Living Cert myself. So I needed to learn about the actual exam, learn about the content and all that. But it was pretty easy to get started, and it helped me improve my communication skills, my teaching skills. I really loved that job. And in all these jobs, I would always give my best. There is this quote that I live by. It says, "Trust your hard work. It is unlocking doors that you can't see yet." And this has proven to be so true my whole life. I always give my best, and by doing my best, I always get a new opportunity that I didn't even know existed before. My third strategy was to start a business. I know that starting a business isn't for everyone, but you can always just keep it small, have a side hustle that gives you some extra income. Think about things that you're good at, that you enjoy, and that you could help people with. It's always a great starting point when searching for a business opportunity or for freelancing. For me personally, I always loved teaching, and I was doing that as part of my part-time jobs and freelancing as well. So it was a no-brainer to start a business in the education area. I launched a startup company called Smart Edu Club to teach kids science in a very fun and practical way. And that was a fantastic experience. I absolutely loved running the education programs and also running the business. It taught me some invaluable skills, so I couldn't recommend starting a business more. I have already done 3 entrepreneurship programs, which gave me grants to invest in my startup idea. And they were great experiences, not only for the grant, but above all, the education that I got there and the connections that I made. So if you're in college, I couldn't recommend more that you get involved with entrepreneurship programs. And if you're a professional working a job, but you have a passion for entrepreneurship, I recommend that you join an entrepreneurship program or just surround yourself by other entrepreneurs so you can learn a little bit more about that world and really nurture your passion for your idea. Looking back, I can clearly see how had I not done my teaching jobs, I wouldn't have known about the grinds, and that wouldn't have led me to launching my business. Doing your best in your current job is going to prepare you for opportunities that are in the future and you don't even know about. Strategy number 4 to maximize your income is to invest. And here what I recommend is taking low risk and long-term strategies. I'm definitely not an expert in investing, but I've done a few things in the past that have helped me, and I suggest that you also do the same. My take on investments is that yes, they do help you grow your money, but the best way to make money is to get in business. And the final strategy to maximize your income is through gifts. And this is a strategy between maximizing your money and minimizing your expenses. When it's getting close to my birthday, I know that my close friends and family will want to get me something for it. So what I do, I just tell them that I'm thinking about buying this thing and that I would appreciate it if they contributed towards it instead of getting me something else. And that has worked really well for me in the past, and hopefully it is a nice idea for you as well. And these were my 5 strategies to maximize my income. I just wanted to emphasize that outside of my PhD stipend, which I was very grateful for, my biggest source of income was definitely my business. I wouldn't even thought of starting a business had I not done my part-time jobs and freelance work, because they helped me improve my skills and also build my confidence for getting clients. Now I'm going to share 5 strategies to minimize your expenses. It doesn't matter how much money you make, if you spend it all, you won't have anything left. That's why managing your expenses well is the key to maximizing your savings. It is very important for you to know your numbers. You need to know where your money is going so you can make an informed decision on which of these expense categories you can minimize your expenses. I'll break down this part of the video into the 5 main expense categories and give you strategies to minimize your expenses. In terms of how I spend my money, I am very intentional, meaning that I spend my money on things that I truly value and that are important to me. A big part of it is knowing what you value and who you are. What I personally see is that a lot of people try to look rich, and that's what keeps them poor. There's this one quote that I love which says, "Don't go broke by trying to look rich." Category number 1 is housing and bills. For most people, rent is their biggest expense, and that was my case when I was doing my PhD as well. Even though I was sharing a house with other people, it was still a very high expense. What I personally did to minimize my expenses there was to spend some time at home and rent out my bedroom while I was away. I was in a very fortunate position where that was somewhat possible for me. I know some people wouldn't be okay with doing that, but what I realized is that that had a cost to me, and I really didn't need my bedroom while I was away. So I made a way to make it work. So if that is a possibility for you, have a think about it and see how you can minimize your rental expense that way. Another thing that I did there was to minimize my phone bill. I don't know about where you live, but in Ireland it was a bit expensive. I got a prepaid plan and I wouldn't top up every single month. I would only do it when I actually needed to use my phone. I had Wi-Fi pretty much everywhere I went. At home, at work, at the gym, so it didn't really make sense for me to be paying that bill. And I preferred spending that money on other things. Expense category number 2 is transportation. I know this can be a huge expense for a lot of people, especially if you own a car. You will need to check what are your options and what works best for you. I didn't need to have a car, so that was great because having a car is a huge expense. I had 2 options. I could walk or I could get public transport. And the public transport system in Ireland is terrible. It doesn't really work and it is very expensive. And on the other hand, walking takes a long time. I found my sweet spot by buying a bike. And that was the single best investment that I made while in Ireland. I got a really nice road bike and I'd ride my bike everywhere. And that was a much faster and cheaper solution to get me everywhere I wanted, whenever I wanted. And these days there are electric scooters, which is a brilliant option as well. Every time I was riding my bike, getting to places, I would feel so grateful for having that option because that was saving me my most precious resources, my money and my time. Plus, it was getting me fit as well, so it was a no-brainer for me. Depending on how far you live from your workplace, maybe carpooling is also an option there for you. It is definitely worth spending some time assessing your different options and what they take in terms of energy, time, and money. Expense category number 3 is food. And my biggest tip to spend smartly on food is to grocery shop every week. It is super important that you choose your supermarket chain well. I remember living in Ireland, the different shops would have very different price ranges. I would always go to the same grocery shop every week to keep it simple and also meal prep. There were 3 main things that I did to save more money and also eat healthier. The first one was to avoid eating out unnecessarily. I would always eat a meal before leaving the house, and if I knew I was going to be away for a long time, I'd always take a snack with me. And that not only allowed me to save money, but also time, because when I was out and about doing things and I was hungry, I'd have to spend time going somewhere to get something to eat. I'd end up having to queue while I could just take something from my bag and eat it. Having a snack in my bag at all times allowed me to save money, time, and also eat healthier. The second thing that I did was to avoid takeaway and food delivery. I have a weird confession here because I've never had a food delivery app on my phone. A big part of it is because I have a few quick and easy meals that I know how to prepare that take me less time than actually ordering food. When I'm out and about, I never really feel like getting takeaway food to eat at home because I know I have the ingredients in my fridge that I can put together and create a meal that I love in less than 10 minutes. And that is actually much faster for me than standing in line waiting to get my food in a shop. Finally, I avoid eating 3 hours before bed because I know that is going to badly affect my sleep. And having this very clear to me really helped me make the decisions whenever people were going out to get food at like 3 a.m. in the morning. Why am I going to spend my money and my time doing something that is bad for my health? It just doesn't make sense. So it allowed me to make decisions that were true to myself and my values. Expense category number 4 is personal things. These include your clothes, your shoes, accessories, or things that you buy for your home and decor. So whenever I'm pondering whether to buy anything like clothes or shoes, accessories, etc., there are 3 questions that I ask myself. Do I really need this right now? Can I repurpose something that I already have? Can I borrow it from someone? And if it is something that I really need, I can't repurpose and I can't borrow from anyone, then I'll buy it only if I really love it. Because especially for clothes, sometimes I don't fully love it and still I feel the pressure to have to buy it just because I tried it on. This is stupid, you know? I will only buy it if I really love it and I'm sure that I'll use it a lot. I personally love the concept of having a capsule wardrobe and that is what I aim to do. Having timeless pieces that go together makes it so much easier for me to get dressed every single day. I only have pieces that I absolutely love and that I find comfortable to wear and obviously that fit me well. Another way to minimize your expenses on clothes and shoes is to maximize what you have. Really make sure that you're using all your pieces, and if you don't love them anymore, it is better that you give them away and just keep everything that you love because that's gonna make it so much easier for you to get dressed in the morning. Expense category number 5 is recreation. It is very important for you to learn what is it that makes you happy. For me personally, that is travel. So I spend a lot of my money on travel because I know that is very important to me. So instead of spending money on expensive meals in my own city or going on nights out and drinking, I saved all that money to spend on travel. And whenever I wanted to start a new hobby, I wouldn't invest a lot on equipment or gadgets when I had that initial excitement. Instead, I would focus all that excitement from that novelty of a new hobby into the actual doing of it, and I'd buy things as I went along. One thing that I see so commonly is that people spend so much money on a hobby without even putting the work in. I understand that for some hobbies you need to put in the money up front, but if you can rent equipment or maybe even borrow it from other people, that is a much better solution. For example, I ran hundreds of kilometers before I even got a watch to track my workouts. This pretty much summarizes everything that I did to minimize my expenses. I hope that you can take a few practical things from this to minimize your own expenses. Thanks for watching until the end. If you're still here, it means you're getting value from this video, so consider subscribing to join this amazing community of driven people and to get inspired to continue taking action to create the life of your dreams. If you don't have a vision board yet, I recommend that you watch this video next so you can use my template. I hope to see you there. Bye!